Let's talk about reserves. The purpose for us having profits, and in the old days, I couldn't even say the word profit. I come out of a not-for-profit world, and I couldn't say it. I had to call it a positive residual. Talk about a weenie. Anyway, now I just call it what it is. Either you pay taxes or you don't, and as far as the for-profit, not-for-profit thing and all that. But anyway, reserves. The amount of money we have in the bank directly impacts how long we can keep patients, which really impacts our quality of care, because we need people to live long enough in order to really render a great experience. What is an optimal care experience? Is it an hour? Is it a day? Or would it be better if we could have people for 2-3 months? Of course, yeah. We can do anticipatory work and all kinds of things. So that's better. And we need those patients. This is the way the financial system is made up. We need to have a certain amount of patients that live long enough so we can render this great experience. We do as much good for those that come in and are just with us for a short time, obviously. But if it's so much better if we can get them earlier. And that comes more out of us and our views about hospice than it does the external world. People say, if only people would refer sooner. Most of it comes from us, and that we have trained the community by virtue of the patients we admit or do not admit, as far as length of stay and all that. So the reason we need to make money is we need to build reserves. Why? Because hospices without reserves have less ability to keep long-living patients. Why? We work with all the FIs. We do more cost reports than anybody in the country. Okay, what's the group of patients that are being targeted? Long-living patients. These are the people that come under scrutiny and focused medical review and all that. So our documentation has to be tight. Okay, so if you have a bunch of patients that have lived a long time, let's say over that 180 days or whatever, those people are going to be ADR'd. Now, if your documentation is tight, you'll get paid on 98% of those. You will be denied initially, then you'll appeal, but eventually you get paid. But here's the question, can you make payroll? Can you keep operating your business, your hospice, until you get paid? And that delay process will take from 6 to 9 months normally. Okay, so therefore, the amount of money we have in the bank, if you don't have enough reserves, you can't have these long-living patients. All you can do is do crash and burns, people that come in for short lengths of stays, and that's all you can do if you don't have the money in the bank, because you can't run your business. You can't make payroll if you don't have that. If you have built the reserves, you can increase the quality of care because you can handle these ADRs where your payments are going to be delayed. So you can have long-living patients. That's why we have to run a good business and be good business managers and stewards. Okay? So reserves directly impacts our quality of care and how long we can keep patients. 14% is what we recommend a typical hospice make. Most of our hospices is much less than that. It might be 3 or 4% or whatever. This is without community support. This is from hospice home care operations. This would be your home care, your nursing homes, and all that. Does not include your inpatient units, although those should be making money as well. Usually a couple percent. 14%. And I never win when I put that number out, because the vast majority of hospices don't get that, and they go, oh my God, we can't do that. And then we have our hospices that are better managed. And they may be doing 28% with no problem, winning quality awards, out visiting, out caring, out loving people, and getting 28%. And they go, Andrew, why are you recommending such a lightweight number? I can't win on this. But I just know if a hospice will just do a little bit better in most of the areas by using best known practices, you can get there. regardless of where your hospice is or the amount of competition or any of that. Size. Okay. And we're not going to change that number. That's a standard. Don't be jerking people around. You know, man, you got that financial thing last year. Let's jack it up a little bit more. Let's jerk you around. We're going to be satisfied with this. And if we beat that, we just bonus people out. And we may have a palliative care program that loses 2% or maybe some other program. And that may get whittled down as a total organization. Maybe you're part of a health system. I wouldn't let it go down below 10% when you put in all the other things that you do, your community bereavement, all this. Okay? Palliative care loses money. It's going to. They all do. Okay? Reserves how much? From 6 to 9 months. What that means is that we can operate our organization and not receive a check from Medicare or Medicaid. And we can operate the business for 6 to 9 months. Because that is the strategy where we get these waves of financial constipation from our MACs and FIs as they review our charts until we'll get paid. So our recommendation is from 6 to 9 months of cash or near cash reserves. Okay? Andrew, why set this profit standard so high? Again, our hospice must be building reserves. It impacts our quality of care, in fact. Low expectations yield low results. Okay? It's easier to loosen up than to tighten up. Okay, if you come in with a low number, let's say you're at break even or at 2% or whatever, and you move it to 8. Well, are you going to jerk people around later on and say, hey, let's go to 14? I don't believe in incrementalism. Set your standard for what you want it to be. It may feel like a goal initially, but if you have the right structures of how you pay people, do your work, you'll get there far quicker and won't confuse people. And then also, if you set it too high, it's easier to loosen up than to tighten up later on. Home care must carry the losses from other programs often. Reserves give a hospice time to react to changes in the environment. Or let's say you have a hospice that's doing the model better. I mean, sometimes there's 50 hospices and 5 of them may be doing the model. And I've built, or I should say help build, because it's a team thing, hospice, and we will just come in and someone will have a census of 600, and in 9 months we'll have them knocked down to 300. The only way you survive that, when you've built up a bunch of indirect costs, is by having financial reserves. That buys you time to retool to get your value proposition up to where the hospice is doing the model better than you. Because that hospice will have great people development systems, and yours has to come up to the same level or beat it. And it provides the CAO with the flexibility regarding the gatekeeper function, gatekeeper of the standards,